So in this video I'm going to show you how to set up your violin. I'm not going to go over all the parts of the violin, I'll do a different video for that if you're interested. This is just going to be the setup. So, first things first, the violin. Pretty self-explanatory. This is your instrument. All the different parts, like I said, I'll go over separately. This is your bow. Very, very, very important piece of the violin and really important to treat properly. I'll go over a few techniques on how to treat it properly as well because it's really important to take care of your bow. Here I have a coon, also known as a shoulder rest. Coon is just one of the most popular brands. Shoulder rest is the generic term. This is rosin. Rosin goes on the bow. It's basically it has tree sap in it. I'm not exactly sure the process that they do to treat it to make it into rosin, but it's essentially tree sap. And a sponge and a rubber band. So the first thing that you're going to want to do when you take your violin out of the case is that you're going to want to notice that your bow should be, if your violin was packaged properly, should be loose. And by loose, I mean that the horsehair, the white string is horsehair, is what it is touching the stick of your bow. You see how the horsehair is right next to the stick of my bow at the moment? That's good. That means it was put away properly. Now when you want to play, you're going to want to tighten your horsehair, and to do that, down at the bottom of your bow there's a little silver knob, and righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, that same rhyme applies. You just want to spin it to the right, and you'll notice the horsehair starts to get taut and to rise away from the stick. And you want to tighten it until your little finger can just fit in between the narrowest part of the bow, the stick, and the horsehair. So why loosen, why tighten it? When it's loose in the case, it allows that natural curve in the stick to relax and to basically curve. And you want the stick to be curved because it adds flexibility to your bow and it's better to play with. If you always leave your bow in the case with it tight, then that curve will eventually just kind of straighten out, and that's not what you want. But obviously you can't play when the horsehair is going around everywhere. It's all super loose because then you can't drag it across the string and make any sound. Now when you bought your fiddle, hopefully it came with some rosin, or if it didn't come with some rosin, then you will definitely need to go out and buy some. It'll come in a little box or some kind. I have a fancy rosin, so it even has a cloth with it. And basically what you want to do is just rub it onto your bow. Evenly, not too fast. If you do it too fast, because tree sap has a pretty low melting point, it'll actually kind of form a glaze on your bow and won't sound very good. So slowly rub the rosin onto your bow. The reason why you do this is it adds some purchase to your bow. It basically makes it sticky, so it'll grab the string. If you have a brand new bow that's never been played on before and has never had rosin put on it, if you draw it across the string, it actually won't make any sound. It's kind of a weird feeling. So you want to rosin your bow until it actually does make some sound on your fiddle. You want to grab your fiddle, swish off the excess rosin, and it made a sound. We're good. So that's the bow. And now for the violin. So basically all you need to do to set up your violin before you start to play is you need to add some kind of shoulder rest. I mentioned the coon. Coons are great, or not necessarily the coon brand. Shoulder rests of this type are absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend buying one if you can. You'll see that most shoulder rests will have a curve in them. I'm just making sure you can see that on the camera. So you see how this side is lower and this side is higher. So it's made to fit the natural contours of your body. The higher side is going to be where your shoulder fits, and then the lower side is supposed to curve down so that it kind of sits nicely on your clavicle there. So now you want to place the coon onto your violin, place the shoulder rest onto your violin, with that design in mind. So you want the curved side up on your shoulder, so you're going to want it on the left side of your violin. Now the coon has little feet on it. See that? Little feet? And the little feet hook around the edge of the violin. So you just want to hook it onto the edge of the violin on one side, leave it there, and then hook the other one around and just slide it on to the violin. And there you have your shoulder rest. There you go. And it should feel pretty comfortable. The feet on the coons are often adjustable. You can spin them, so that will either raise or lower the coon for you. Alternatively, you can use what is called a sponge and a rubber band. Pretty self-explanatory. This is basically if you don't want to buy a coon or you don't know where to buy one. This is a good stand-in the meantime. All you do is you put the sponge, I only have a really tiny sponge, you'll probably want a bigger one, on the left side of your violin where your shoulder is, where it's going to be resting. You want to get a fairly big elastic band and you just kind of wrap it on. And it fell off because I'm not very good at putting sponges on. But you basically just hold it on to your fiddle. With an elastic band you can wrap it around the curve of the violin there. Be careful, don't put it on the strings because that'll make them go out of tune. That's kind of a quick and easy shoulder rest method. And now, if you got your shoulder rest, I don't actually have one on at the moment, got your shoulder rest, you got your bow, nice and tight, you're ready to play.